And welcome back to the WHHI Daily News. We have Heather Rath with us. She is coming early morning from Hawaii on this Zoom. Heather, looks beautiful there.
Good morning, and I'm giving y'all a beautiful North Shore sunrise from Haleiwa, Wailua, Hawaii. And there's roosters crowing, so right. I hope we get through this interview without being interrupted.
All right, well, thank you so much for getting up so early. We've got quite a bit to talk about. We're going to jump right into the town of Hilton Head and beach parking. So where are we, Heather?
Sure. So if y'all remember, we as a council voted on this last year to ensure that we had some beach parking regulations set up for this summer. With that included some weekend rates that were a flat rate that some in the community felt were a little bit high, not just residents, but also business owners that were concerned. The mayor actually asked one of the committees, Tamara Becker's committee, public safety, and to look into this. And the recommendation that came back was a little bit more expansive than what the mayor had asked this committee to do. Steve DeSimone, council member who represents Forest Beach in the Coligny district, along with Ms. Becker, voted to actually include that there should be parking at Coligny, and this was, paid parking at Coligny. And this is something that, was recommended that there was going to be a task force around so that the business owners and the Forest Beach residents who did not want paid parking at Coligny because it overflows into their neighborhood, really wanted to get behind a task force and people to come together to understand how this would directly impact them and to look at the history of this, right? Because this is, there's paid parking in Coligny a number of years ago and it was taken out for a reason. So this recommendation from this committee kind of came out of nowhere. It's going to council today, and we'll see where it lands. I really do believe that we will have a $3 an hour parking rate fee and some modifications to the flat rate on the weekends to kind of increase that turnover so that people just don't sit. But the paid parking in Coligny is opposed by both residents and the business community down there. And don't forget those business owners, they live on Hilton Head. So This is a real interesting topic that has kind of gone a little bit sideways and outside the scope. For right now. So
very good. So we
don't believe everything that you hear on Next Door, and more to come.
And we should hear after the meeting tonight, we'll hear information tomorrow and go to the website, the town's website. It should get the latest.
Yeah. And we'll see what their implementation timeline is, right? Because it's kind of a little bit strange to change things mid-season, right? Especially when we're all looking at this season as not being necessarily as strong as we have seen pre-pandemic, even with a lot of changes in the marketplace, especially changes in the Virginia marketplace, which is a huge market for our visitor audience. And, as you know, the Virginia marketplace is related a lot to the federal government and people have lost jobs. So it's just a really interesting dynamic to be happening at the time when there's so much uncertainty in the visitor market.
All right, we're going to jump to one quick other topic before we bring you back after the break, and that's the opioid fund. The monies that are coming in from the federal government, not from the government, but from pharma, will be going to the Alliance for Healthy Youth. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what we're looking at with the South Carolina Opioid Fund recovery process is really an interesting one. We as a state, and then each of the counties and some municipalities, were involved in a lawsuit against the pharmaceutical companies, along with a lot of the retailers that were involved. Think Walmart, Kroger, CVS, that sort of thing. In terms of the opioid overdose issues that plagued our country and are still plaguing our country today. The South Carolina Opioid Fund is set up. There's two pots of money. One is discretionary dollars, and then the other is guaranteed dollars. The town of Hilton Head Island, along with other towns and Jasper and Beaufort County and all the other counties, were involved in the settlement process. And so they're receiving direct dollars for every settlement that occurs. Today at council, the Lowcountry Alliance for Healthy Youth, which is a nonprofit organization set up by a number of local leaders, including my dear friend David Martin, who owns the Piggly Wiggly in Coligny. They will be receiving that pot of dollars to work on behalf of the town of Hilton Head Island. So that's a positive step forward, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Very good. And do you mind staying? We're going to come back to you with more information on strategic planning and the Alex Brown community event. So
yeah, and let's talk about the SIB, the State Infrastructure Bank, okay?
Okay, perfect. All right, we'll be right back with more news with Heather Rath in just a moment.